Bring me the one with uncorrupted fear. Matamoros, Mexico. A cauldron simmers beneath mesquite embers, inside herbs, cryptic carvings and something unmistakably human. 5 men kneel in silence, the stench of burning bone woven with cheap cologne. One word floats through the smoke: obedezcanme. Before this story ends, you'll hear the final order Constanzo gave when the guns turned on him. What transforms a pre-med honor student into a ritual sacrifice? Why did cartel couriers and college kids alike choose obedience over escape? Adolfo de Jesús Constanzo was born in Miami in 1962. His childhood was steeped in Palo Mayombe, a spiritual tradition that blends Congo ritual with Catholic iconography. He relocated to Mexico City and, well, quickly became a fixture in the occult underground. He sold protection spells to both drug traffickers and federal agents. The more dangerous the client, the more they paid. By 1987, his rituals escalated. Animal sacrifices were no longer enough. Human offerings became his currency of power. At the center of his cult stood Sara Aldrete, a charismatic college student known as La Madrina. Together with half a dozen cartel smugglers, they formed Constanzo's core inner circle. He demanded total submission. He was the padrino, the godfather. Aldrete served as his high priestess. New members were isolated at Rancho Santa Elena. They were deprived of sleep, bled in rituals and, well, broken down until the group was all they had left. On March 13, 1989, a young man named Mark Kilroy disappeared while celebrating spring break. By dawn, he had been delivered to the ranch. Constanzo declared him a smart sacrifice. He ordered a cerebral lobotomy while Kilroy was still alive. The smarter the victim, the stronger the spell. On April 11th, authorities raided the ranch. They discovered 15 mutilated bodies, an altar soaked in blood, and a human spine wrapped in wire, used as a ceremonial scepter. On May 6th, Constanzo was trapped inside a Mexico City apartment. He handed an Uzi to a loyal follower and gave his final command: "Give me a clean death." When does ritual become coercion? Drop your timestamp of the first red flag in the comments. But why did no one flinch when he asked for brains in the cauldron? Charismatic authority doesn't need credentials. It feeds on presence. Followers believed Constanzo could see the future. He predicted drug raids. He spoke in absolutes. Obedience meant protection. Doubt meant destruction. He demanded sacrifices beyond blood. Followers burned their own luxury cars to prove loyalty. The cost was part of the spell. Neurological scans of cult members, showed suppressed activity in the brain's decision-making centers when they listened to their leader's voice. Their critical thinking was, in a sense, outsourced. Inside the group, groupthink absolutely thrived. They believed they were bulletproof, shielded by cartel firepower and ritual protection. Initiates were, forced to beat or bury victims, entangling guilt with loyalty. Private diaries revealed doubt, but rituals were used to cleanse fear and reinforce devotion. Groupthink typically requires isolation. Constanzo engineered it in a cartel environment surrounded by phones and radios. How? Through moral disengagement. Murders became works or jobs. Sacrifices were framed as practical, one American life in exchange for an entire shipment. Responsibility was shared. Killings rotated among followers to dilute individual guilt. In the 1980s, as border militarization increased, drug traffickers turned to mysticism for control. Police corruption allowed the cult to operate in plain sight. Some officers were even clients. Sara Aldrete lived a double life, student by day, priestess by night. The split identity helped her suppress the horror. Unease becomes horror, horror becomes reflection. Constanzo didn't need a church, his altar was psychological, and today altars look different. Online cults no longer need blood to bind their followers. They use algorithms, memes, and identity. Obedience now comes with a click. Could you spot a charm of belonging that costs more to leave than to join? Constanzo refused to be taken. His final act was obedience to his own rules. "I don't want the police to own me," he said. "Clean death now." Obedience begins as trust. It becomes belief. And in the end, as we saw at Rancho Santa Elena, it returns to the cauldron. Would you kneel just once if it meant feeling untouchable? Suggest a lesser-known cult where belief eclipsed morality. Next time, Ghosts of the Classroom, exploring the Cokeville hostage miracle and the psychology of protective hallucination.